Well, we're going to turn the music down. We're going to get serious for a minute. There's been a situation on Twitter, and I gave them the out, but they don't want to take it. They think because I have 200 followers and they have 900 followers, that they can just sit there and bully me into their stupid fucking opinion. So we're going to we're just going to go through it. We're just going to go through it because they're trying to get me on their side. So we're do all research on the screen, and we're gonna find out what's going on here. So that probably sounds a little vague, but we'll get right into it. So let me pull up the thing I have prepared. So we're gonna start from the top. Some random person came across my feed and asked if there's any cool suggestions for artists on VGen. Because they want to debut, blah, blah, blah. No bots. And I was like, cool. All right. Well, the team I hired to do my VTuber model and all this stuff, they were very professional and very nice. And I figured, oh, hey, I'll give them a shout out. Fuck it. So I tagged them. I said, if they have open slots, they do fantastic work, very fast, which they were. They were extremely fast. They actually did it under the commission time, which apparently is pretty rare. And so I highly recommended them. And they thought, okay, cool, and gave it a like, and that was that. And that could have been life as usual after that. This was June, so 3 days ago. Okay. Then comes in this fella, and he's like, not them. They are unfortunately one of these broker accounts. And I thought, okay. Well, it says broker on their name. It's like one of the tags you can have in VGen. If you had never used VGen, they have like artist tags, official artists and stuff like that. So when you're commissioning, you know what you're getting into. And as a broker, they have to officially, put a broker thing on when it's a team rather than just a single artist. And so, I thought that was kind of weird. So I was like, hey, nothing wrong with brokers, especially if the work gets done, right? And then they go on to say, oh, they're a known JRU Hub account. And you're about as far along as I was with this, because I have no idea what the fuck that means. And it turns out they're apparently an Indonesian broker network who are reported to exploit young Indonesian artists with low pay and no credit to work given, with high workloads, and sometimes minors are included, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, that's cool and all. I thought, all right, well, that's some pretty crazy accusations, so let's... can you show those? Because I'd like to see them. And as you can see here, there isn't any. And they said, oh, well, just go to this, and you can find the evidence of it. And I thought, okay, so let's go to this JRU Hub, which is linked directly to this, which is the Ethical Artist Hub. They're anti-AI, which aren't they all? And it's managed by... who gives a fuck? And PFP is who gives a fuck, right? So anyways, they have this document here about finding people on VGen that are brokers and then putting them on blast on Twitter, which you can see here they have, oh, this person rebranded. They rebranded their VGen account, probably because they're getting harassed. And then they post that, oh yeah, they got rebranded. This is them now with, how can you tell that exactly? All the places they sell on, everything. This person. I mean, they're basically going after these brokers, and it's like, okay, well, why though? There's nothing here that's like, I saw accusations of like child labor and, stuff that would be illegal, right? And there's just nothing here. So I looked into it further. But what caused me to look into it further is what I'll show you right now. This is a completely unrelated incident of me talking to somebody. And this quote-unquote VTuber, I don't know if they actually VTube. I actually didn't look into it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We're not going to go over that. What we are going to go over is the fact that they said how there's a debate of people undercharging themselves, overcharging themselves, etc. And about marketing. Well, I know a bit about marketing. I have a degree in that. Actually, I went to school and paid good money to, learn about marketing and statistics and everything like that. So, I told them, hey, your work is your marketing, which is true of art. Anything you make physically, that's your marketing. If you make a shirt, like a really, cool shirt, when somebody wears that shirt and they say, hey, that's a cool shirt, where did you get it? That's marketing. That's advertising. And so I told them, hey, marketing and luck is the easy part, because your work is your marketing, and you have no control over luck. Providing a competitively priced service that benefits both you and the customer is the most important metric, which is true. That's literally been proven time and time again. That's, making sure your product is competitive in all forms. And they go on to say that your work is not your marketing. That's like saying a store's product is the marketing. And it is. It literally is. So it's like, okay, sure. You can have the greatest artwork in the world, but if nobody knows it exists, nobody will buy it. That's why you just post it. That's why you have a portfolio. Every artist knows. Every legitimate in it for the game artist knows that. I mean, I don't know why I have to explain this to them, but basically they just bring up all this other bullshit that doesn't matter. I said, it's literally that simple. If your art slaps, people want it. I think everybody agrees. If you don't agree, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you can say you're the greatest artist in the world, but if you don't have any art to show for that, then nobody's going to get art from you. I mean, that's pretty common sense, I think. I don't think anybody's going to buy art from you. I wouldn't. I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't. Especially in this day and age, for everybody on here, you don't know if it's a bot account or not. And so I told them, if you think simply being nice or funny will sell commissions, join the 90% of VGen accounts struggling for a paycheck, which is true. There's a majority of artists on there and other sites like Fiverr, and they're not getting any money because they aren't getting any commissions because their prices aren't competitive or their work sucks. That's just a fact. And so what do they do to respond to this? Oh, they pivot and they say, ooh, I get it now. You're an AI dude, it seems. Respectfully, you obviously don't know how hard it is to truly get commissions as an artist, as you're outside of that community. And I will tell you right now, that's not how it works as an art seller myself. Well, that's funny. Because I respond with, thankfully, I'm outside of your community, because I do run an art-based business for the past 14 years and degrees in business management. I do commercial embroidery. I deal with art literally every day. I deal with copyright every day. And it's like these people, the second you introduce yourself as this, they instantly switch to blocking me. Like, respectfully, I'll be blocking you, not because of our conversation, but because I block all AI accounts. Total fucking retard. And then they did block me. So then this faggot right here decides to respond to this, knowing I can't respond because I'm blocked, and says, oh no, this one, a few days ago, I talked to this VTuber to see the minor abuses from Indonesian brokers. And his answer is, if you have proofs, to send to the local police, but he doesn't understand the work behind Ethical Art Hub and their team trying to remove those brokers from VGen. So he does this shit post, and he perfectly well knows I can't reply because the author has blocked me. All right? So this little fucking shit, I called him out because fuck him, right? Because if you're going to be retarded, bitch, and attack me, do it in a place where I can comment and roast you further. Think hiding on a luck post makes you feel safe. And so he said, we send the proofs and you don't open your eyes, bro. This isn't an attack, but if we don't follow your likes, are we your enemies? And I said, you didn't send any. And so the proof he's trying to show me is saying, oh, you need to look into the resources and look into Indonesia. Oh, and I told them, well, they should press charges if they're doing something illegal. And they're, this needs to be called out or reported, then report it. And they're like, oh, well, it's Indonesia. The government's corrupt. You'll understand if you watch the video. I'm not going to watch your fucking video. Just show me proof. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't fucking do it. Meanwhile, this Mr. Peter Parker guy, some rigger, I think he's a rigger. Let's see. He has a VGen. Actually, you know what? While we're here, let's look at his VGen. Let's learn about Mr. Peter Parker here, since he wanted to have some not so nice words for me. Oh, look, he rigs lolly characters for $200, and he has 3 reviews. Wow. Yeah, there'd be no benefit for a small account like this to be calling people out and trying to stir up drama, right? Yeah, not at all. $700. Ready to rig. I broke my limit. Yeah, okay, buddy. Anyways, so this motherfucker pulls my comment here, which I couldn't respond on because I got blocked, and starts some drama bullshit about how, oh, it's legal exploitation. Here's somebody with a fucking NFT monkey profile picture talking about how they basically agreed to do work and then got screwed over because they didn't read what they read to in the contract. So it was a contractual like misunderstanding and they fucked up. And apparently, oh, well, now we need to go after all of them. And so I said, if it's illegal, then sue them. Call the cops. Literal retard behavior. And then he says, oh, we already sued them, bruh. But they are doing nothing instead of killing a civilian. Today, and just today, there was a law that can police that, I don't know, he can't speak very good English, so there is a law that police can be on civilian work. I don't know what that means exactly. They will do everything instead of investigating. And then he posts a random like headline without the link to a stadium disaster crackdown police brutality thing, which didn't even fucking pertain to this in 2025. So literally no evidence, and so I said, "Hey, it looks unrelated, you know. It's I don't know what the fuck you're talking about here." Because they just keep saying there's all this drama and legal stuff going on, and the you know, my VGen artist I used is a bad group of people, but they have no proof of it. By the way, these people are Peruvian that are bitching about the Indonesians, which is really kind of peculiar, actually. Yeah, people have spoken out, have been doxxed, including tipper higher up, tipping off like government officials. No evidence. Again, I asked for it like 10 times. No evidence. It's all about ex-JRU members. I mean, it's literally just they're just LARPing this giant conspiracy that they have no evidence about through this ethical artist hub. There is something too I want to show you, because they decided that asking for facts is really bad and that I should be yelled at for it. And so he came here directly and said to my thing where I said it looks unrelated, you know, this death in Jakarta bullshit that has nothing to do with anything. It says, "You're so stupid. Our government is corrupt, you son of a bitch. Only monkey watch your stream on Kick. Middle finger, middle finger, middle finger." Which is kind of true. I mean, my mod's black, so... But I thought that was funny, so we talk about it on stream. But that's not all. Let's dig into a little like what's going on and how this came to be. So the group that's from Peru, it's a Peruvian Vtuber organization. Kind of like how, you know, Ninja Sanji was. Who catches strays. Sorry. I got to include you in the video. That way you feel included, you know, and then you're invested at that point. You know, this fucker is calling you a monkey. How does it make you feel during Pride Month, you know? Anyways, yeah, so this group, it's a Moonly Grupo VTuber Group Independent. I don't know. I don't speak fucking Mexican, dude. Anyways, they're Peruvian. They got all these VTuber models. And I started noticing something as I'm like looking through here, is they didn't mention anything about that drama that they're, you know, calling me a monkey. No, I'm not. They called you a monkey. They typed it. I just pointed it out. That's all. I'm just making you aware. But I mean, they didn't have anything in the drama here that they're like pushing on to people and targeting these artists. But as I scroll more, I started noticing something really crazy. And that you got memes of all your VTubers you have in your organization. Well, that's pretty cool. You know, that's what you should do. You should engage with your VTubers. Oh, I bet they deleted it. Oh no, yeah. There's something about cum, haha, very funny. You know. Oh, well, that's sexual too. That's kind of okay. Whatever, right? You know, it's engagement. You know, no, they wouldn't all have that for all their memes. Oh. What's this? Oh, it's a broken bed meme about all of their female artists that they have in their organization. Oh, that's weird. I sure hope they're all 18 or over. I sure hope they're not exploiting female artists as they claim these people on VGen are with their broker accounts. They hate the gays. That's pretty based. So I think that means they hate the gays. I don't know. Like I said, I don't speak Mexican. Yeah, but it's just really interesting. You know, they're so easy to accuse somebody, you know, or a group of people of something and trying to ruin their business, but will you know, post gender memes about fudas and trannies and shit. You know, that's very interesting. Anyways, so I was still interested though, because I want to make sure, you know, like, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something going on in Indonesia that I need to talk about. But first, we need to find out what broker accounts are. And luckily, Grok here was very litigious on telling me how the broker system works. So if you didn't know, the broker system on VGen, you'll have a little broker tag next to your name. It basically means they're a studio. A broker, well, there's a studio that's a studio, but the broker is the subcontractor that gets external freelancers or studios in line with customers through their marketing, etc. Brokers the entire thing, depending on, you know, like if they need somebody who speaks English to talk to English customers and the artist that doesn't, they can translate. So that's pretty common in like a ton of industries. Now they have to, this is the legal part right here. These are the requirements. They have to disclose the account type, which they do. They have the broker badge. Okay. Full transparency with clients and artists. I can say, without pulling the DMs from personal experience, that the third message they gave me, I said, hey, how you doing? I want this. Are you able to do these? They said, yes, we can do that. What's your budget? We went through all that. The third thing they ever told me was, hey, by the way, I need to disclose to you, we are a broker service. We are an office of people. We get in touch with artists, and we have a whole group, including riggers and media and everything, and we all connect together to get stuff out a lot faster. Is that okay? And I said, yes, of course. You know, working with a team rather than one person, great. So they did that. So check mark, check mark. Proper credit in their artists, including their portfolios. The artists that actually did mine, they gave their art, my model art, to them to put in their portfolio. Confirmed. Check mark. Quality matching. The work delivered must match the quality advertised in examples. Correct. Shared accountability. If any team member violates policies, like tracing, poor quality, blah, 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 the entire group can face warning, suspension, or termination. So that's an agreed upon thing. So they did nothing wrong there. This is exactly how I described it and how they subcontract. And yeah, so it's completely fine with the site. There's nothing illegal going on here. That was white screen. I'm sorry. This is the official policy for VGen group accounts. I double checked with this versus what Grok told me. Everything is word for word. There is nothing here that is different. There's nothing here that is a problem. If you meet even one of those requirements, you don't meet one of those requirements, I'm sorry, warning, suspension, termination. And they are very serious about it, which was why most people use VGen, because it's very serious and, you know, tries to keep everybody in line and keep the scammers out, which they don't always do, but I think they do a good job of trying. So VGen's not at fault. The brokers aren't at fault. Is the country at fault? So apparently there's something called flex exploitation, which is a really big mouthful. And apparently that's basically a fancy word for literally what Southeast Asian countries have been doing for hundreds of years, you know, like, oh, you're 14 years old? Well, you can join the labor force now. You need to earn money. You get $5 a month. If the people feel like this is a problem in their own country, they need to move countries or they need to reform and change it. None of this has happened. This has nothing to do with my VTuber model and the artist who made it. I don't know why this is getting involved like this, or why they're tagging me, or trying to push this down my throat to support whatever the fuck they're trying to get me to support. But they said it's the most corrupt government. Oh, you should look it up. So you're right, I should look it up. So we're going to look over corruption. I looked up corruption in Indonesia. Apparently it's a pretty significant issue, which, understandable. I think I've heard of it before, of stuff happening. And then I found that there's this corruption perceptions index. Apparently it's this thing they do. They check where they basically go off of people reporting, personal investigation. It's like a whole official thing. And they were ranked out of 182 countries. They were 109th. So they're not even on the bad end of the spectrum. And I thought, okay, well, let's look at this, let's look at this whole list, because, maybe some bullshit's going on here, right? So, white screen. Okay, there's your warning. Okay. So this is the world. As you can see, it's flat, just like in real life. All right. So it has corruption perceptions index, and this is 2026. So chances are this is actually 2025, and 2026 is when it came out, because they were doing the study. That's usually how studies work. Okay. So according to this, Denmark has the least amount of reported government corruption by the public versus, plus what actually happens in the news and is reported. So it's not a completely accurate system. I will say that outright, but it is what he's referencing. So we need to know all the details here before we start using this as an example. So according to this, Denmark, Finland, and Singapore are the three least corrupt politically and government-wise countries, which I don't know about Denmark and Finland, but Singapore I agree with. If you steal something, they're going to chop your arms off. So I'd say that's pretty good. Yeah, they have no crime. Very little crime. I'd say a lot of these are probably okay. I mean, they're hit or miss, of course, because it depends on their metrics and what's reported. Because like I said, they're going off of perceived levels of public sector corruption. They're not going off of straight crime or anything like that. That's just a factor. So let's find, what the fuck's the name of their country again? I already forgot. This has been so ridiculous to even have to deal with. What was it? Indonesia? Panama? Philippines? I don't care. Indonesia even? What fucking country are these people from? I hope they see this and get triggered too, because I don't fucking care about their stupid fucking moral battle. Indonesian. There we go. So let's find Indonesia in here. Is it no longer a country? Maybe that's why. Indonesia. Okay, there we are. So we're at 34. Okay, so that's a pretty bad score, I'd say, compared to other countries, whatever. However, Indonesia beat the Philippines. It beat Mongolia. It beat Egypt. It beat Peru, which is the country these stupid fucking VTubers live in. It's worse than the country they're bitching about. How fucking retarded can you be? How about you fix your own fucking country instead of LARPing for this other country to somebody who's not in either of these countries? This is the level of retardation I have to deal with. Indonesia is more honorable than Mexico. It's more honorable than all of these PvP servers in Africa. Why aren't you talking about those? Haiti barely beat North Korea. That's insane. Well, look at this. Oh my God. These African countries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them, including Syria, are below North Korea. They're below North Korea in government corruption ratings. And of course, Somalia is next to last. Of course it is. They just want to run child care centers, but that's getting in the weeds a bit. But yeah, basically they want me to demonize my artist, and they want to demonize all these artists and give them hate and stuff for a problem that doesn't exist. And if it does exist, nobody's doing anything about it, including the people bitching about it. They're not doing anything about it. They're just LARPing. They're just fucking LARPing. They just want views on Twitter. And so instead they're gonna get a hit piece. So that's what this is right here. And I'll even tag them in it so they can hate watch me or follow or respond with actual evidence, which I asked for 500 times. But let this be known to anybody else who comes and attacks me. I will fucking come after you. I don't mean physically. I mean, I don't have to threaten violence or anything to make your day a living hell. I can use facts and logic and break down everything you come at me with if you pull some fucking bullshit like this.